Hey guys, what's up? It's Flynn here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Nova in Warframe in 2019. Now, Nova has been one of my most used frames over my 5 or 6 years of playing Warframe. She's got so many things going for her. She is too good to pass up. So if you're a newer player, you should go ahead and you should pick up Nova as soon as possible because she's going to make so many things go way more efficiently in the game and make this game a lot more enjoyable experience for you, especially if you're struggling with those later levels in the star chart, because Nova makes those extremely easy because of her fourth ability. And what her fourth ability does is it slows the enemies down by 75%. All you have to do is throw on 145% power strength, and then that is it. Like, it's that simple. So you can throw on Intensify, and then you've pretty much got almost the amount that you need, and then one more power strength mod, be it Power Drift or something, and then you've got the full effectiveness of her 4. You couple that with duration. A lot of people use range whenever that's not actually how you mod Nova. You throw on more duration, and then more enemies are going to be affected with one cast off your 4, and that is basically all you need to do to get value out of Nova. Now, there are other things which Nova can give you if you know her kit, which I'm going to show in this video. But just to give you the basic demonstration of how the 4 works, we go ahead, we spawn in the heavy gunners, okay? And they're going to be walking towards us. We're going to press 4, okay? And this little wave is going to expand, all right? And then once that passes them, it's going to slow them by 75%. So the slow caps out at 75% by reaching 145% power strength, and then the amount that this thing expands for is based on your power duration, not power range. Modding for power range is going to increase the effectiveness of the 1, the 2, and the 3, not the 4. Okay, well, it does affect the explosion radius, because whenever those enemies are primed, because it's called M prime, whenever these enemies are affected by your 4, they're known as being primed. You can kill them, and whenever you kill them, they're going to explode. And if it kills an enemy that is near that enemy, right, the little explosion, it's going to set off like a chain reaction, right? And that's kind of the theme of Nova, that chain reaction type thing going. I wasn't that great at science and skills, so I don't know exactly what it is, but you know, I'm just going to go ahead and kill these guys. So that was pretty much that. The first ability is a damage reduction and also damage dealing ability. The damage dealing you should just not bother with whatsoever. The damage reduction is what it is all about. So we go ahead and we press R1, and you're going to see down the bottom right hand corner, it's got the number 18 over the symbol for the power, right? And basically what that says is that we have 18 of these little balls flying around us, and every one of these balls is going to give you 5% damage reduction. So we have 18 balls, and we're going to get 5% damage reduction per each ball that we have, if that makes any sense. So that is all you want to be using this ability for. I think, I'm not too sure what the stat is that increases the amount of, what's it called, balls you have on you, just off the top of my head. So let's go ahead and do a test. I think it may be, it's something weird. Yeah, it's duration. So the more duration you have on, then the more balls you're going to have around you, which is why I had 18. You know, a lot of people say that it's power strength off the top of their head, but it's duration, which is why I went and checked, just to make sure that I wasn't wrong, because there's a lot of misconception around that one ability and the 4. There's just a lot of misinformation out there that you get from other players. You know, they'll say that you need to have range for the 4 to be effective, or you need to have power strength for the 1 to be effective, and that's just not the case whatsoever with Nova. So, you know, you've got this little thing over here. Just by hovering over the abilities, you can check, and then that'll clear up any misconceptions. Just do trial and error testing. So if you were to go ahead and throw on power strength, for example, so Intensify, you would see that that would increase the damage, but not the amount of particles that we have, right? So just to clear that up and make sure that we're all on the same page there. The second ability, Antimatter Drop, this is a damage dealing ability, which is really, really good, actually. A lot of people write this one off because they don't know how to use it efficiently. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to spawn in bombards, because this is mainly radiation damage. Okay, simulate. There we go. And what's going to happen here is we can shoot at this ball, which we can guide with our crosshair, right? And whenever it touches a surface or an enemy, it's going to explode. So we aim it down at the floor. There's a little tiny explosion, and you'll see that it deals like 62 damage, which isn't a lot. But if we go ahead and we prime these enemies, right? And then we shoot our ball, and we shoot it with our shotgun, and then we guide it into them, it deals a lot more damage. So let's just one-shot them. So bring a shotgun whenever you're playing Nova, and then you can make a lot of use out of that second ability as a good damage dealing or room clearing ability. So you've got the slow, you've got the damage reduction, you've got the damage dealing. Now all we need is the mobility, right? So we've got our mobility ability, and this is basically just a wormhole. You can place it, and then you go through it, and then it teleports you to wherever. Now this is affected by your power range. The explosion radius of your 2 is affected by power range. You don't necessarily need power range, I would say. I don't have a lot on my build, and it still is a pretty okay-ish range on the portal, I would say. Like, it's nothing insane, but there is definitely other ways to build around it, right? So, you know, you could go for like a movement speed build with a lot of power range and a lot of efficiency, and use that just to get around the likes of the Plains of Eidolon or the Orb Valis or something like that. And then, you know, that's Nova. Or you can even use it to do the Lua challenges, right? Because those are pretty tedious for newer players as well. So that's a nice little tip right there. But my Nova build is an Umbral Nova build, and if I could speak English and say the word build properly, that would be really, really nice. But this is the build that I'm running, and it actually gave me a little bit of leeway to throw on a meme mod, right? Because I didn't have to throw on, what's it called, Power Drift, because of my Umbral build. So I got Umbral Vitality on here, and that's going to give me more health, and then Umbral Intensify. And what's going to happen is, because I have Umbral Vitality equipped, it's going to increase the effectiveness of Umbral Intensify, bringing it up to 55%, which means that we've hit our 75% slow cap on our 4th ability, right? So if we were to go ahead and take a look, we've got the slow percentage on this, and it's 75%. We're just at 155. So if we go back to our config C, and we were to throw on Intensify, if I can find it with my eyes, that would be nice. Intensify plus Power Drift. Power Drift. All right, so that's exactly 145% power strength. You see that we get our 75%. We go ahead, we take off Power Drift, we go down to 60%. So 145% is all you need to get the 75% slow on M Prime. You don't need to go over. I believe Umbral Intensify at base is just 44%. So that's why we go ahead and we throw on the Vitality. But you want to have the Vitality on anyway, because health is health, right? And this game is too casual to be running builds without Vitality anymore. So yeah, but after that, I stack into Duration next. We've got Prime Continuity, Narrow-Minded, Constitution, Augment Message. So a big amount of Duration on there. I've got Prime Flow and Streamline on. Now, you can replace these for something different. You could throw on Range or whatever if you really, really wanted to. I like having the efficiency on there, and I like having the backlog of energy. That's just my playstyle. Personally, I have that on. But like I said, you don't necessarily need those, because there's so many other ways to sustain your energy in the game now that, you know, they're not 110% necessary. You got Arcane Energize, you got Spoiler Mode, Energy Pads, etc., etc. If you're a newer player, I recommend going down the route of using Streamline plus Flow or Prime Flow, or Streamline plus Fleeting and Fleeting Expertise. On Nova, I don't recommend Fleeting Expertise, but if you're a newer player and you're struggling to keep your energy up, then Fleeting Expertise may come in handy. You're taking a little bit of a hit to duration, but you're counteracting that with Prime Continuity and Narrow-Minded, Augment Message, Constitution, etc., etc. So that should help out. And then, as you can see on my Excel slot, I've got Peculiar Growth, if I can say that word correctly. I can't speak today, I don't know why, but then again, that's every day, it's just my accent. But yeah, Peculiar Growth is on there. It's a meme mod. I don't really need to have anything on my Exilus mod. If I was going super duper hardcore, I could throw on the Exilus mod that works a little bit like Lightning Dash. What's it called again? Is Mobilize? Mobilize. I could throw a Mobilize on there, and that's going to give me a little bit more parkour velocity, right? So that's nice. And then for my aura, I'm running Shield Disruption for some reason. I must have been doing something involving shields, but you can throw this, or you can put anything on the slot, right? You can use Cruise Projection, you can use whatever the hell you want to use. It's really down to you. And then there's another cool thing that you can do with Nova's M Prime, right? So if we have positive power strength, so over 100%, it's going to slow them down. But what if we went below 100% power strength, right? What happens then? They speed up, right? So if you're doing a defense mission and you want it to be done fast, let's say versus the Infested or something, or Disarmed Grenier or something like that, you can use a negative power strength Nova. And then what's going to happen there is you're going to speed the enemies up, right? So we just throw on Overextended, and then there you go. Minus ability strength. We go down to 40% strength, and then they're going to get sped up. What's this one do? Molecular Prime Augment. When killed, primed enemies will restore a null star charge. This is just to keep my damage reduction up on my 1. I completely forgot that this Augment mod existed because I barely play this version of Nova anymore, but it's more or less the same deal, except we're going for negative power strength, and it gives us a little bit more leeway to mod for other things, right? Because we don't have to have on multiple power strength mods, we just have to have on overextended. So I've got a decent bit of duration on here. I've got a little bit of range on here as well to up the explosion radius, because we're going to be playing against squishy enemies anyway, because I only ever use this versus infested. It's also going to make the range of our 2 and our 3 a lot bigger, because even though we don't have a lot of power strength on this build, our 2 is still pretty damaging, right? Because you can store all the damage up into it. So it's the same idea, just with negative power strength, and I threw on that Augment mod just because I could, right? It keeps my damage reduction up, and you know, there's no reason not to have that damage reduction up if you can have it up. So that is basically that. But I'll go ahead and I shall demonstrate the bombards being sped up. So here we go, and you'll see that they run a lot faster now. There you go. Well, they move a lot faster. Whatever, run, move, same thing. They're just moving slightly faster. It ups their fire rate as well, and then, you know, as you can see, my boss still one shot. So still a really effective Warframe in terms of damage dealing, even with the negative power strength on there. And then you can see that I have my little balls on here. I've got less duration on this build. No idea exactly why. It's been a while since I looked at it. I think I don't have Auger Message equipped. That might be it. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, I don't have Auger Message on this build because I probably made this build like a long time ago and then never looked at it again. So yeah, that is basically that. But yeah, that's Nova. Like, her kit might not seem like a lot, but like that's really effective in the likes of defense, interception, survival not so much, because you need to be killing as many enemies as possible. It can be really good in an excavation mission if you have a really bad team, like people who aren't guarding the excavators. You know, that's just a usage case. So mainly I use Nova, the slow version of Nova, whenever I am carrying teammates or newer players to the game and they need a little bit of help, like they don't get all the objective base and they're not playing the objectives and stuff like that. And then the fast Nova whenever I'm farming resources or I just want the mission to be done quickly. You can even use this in the likes of what's it called, leveling on Hydron, right? If you want to speed things up, totally down to you as well. Don't use the slow mode in Hydron because people will yell at you and they'll probably leave at 5 waves and nobody wants that. So yep, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.